Welcome to Tulsa Botanic Garden Virtual Lessons. I'm your host, Susan Farrow. Each lesson will include this introduction, the reading of a book, the actual lesson, and some activities you can do to reinforce the lesson. I hope you enjoy this. Thanks for watching. Tree, a peek through picture book by Britta, Teckentrup. In the forest, all is still, gripped by winter's icy chill. Owl sits watching in his tree. No one sees as much as he. Snow is melting all around. Shoots are peeping through the ground. In the trees, young bear cubs play. Spring cannot be far away. Blossoms fall and leaves are growing. A gentle springtime breeze is blowing. Squirrels scamper here and there. Playful fox cubs sniff the air. Birds flit through the leafy bowers. The forest is abloom with flowers. Birds are singing, foxes play. Summertime is on its way. Now summer's here, the sun is high. Bees are humming in the sky. Juicy apples, ripe and sweet, are almost ready for you to eat. On a warm midsummer's night, all the stars are shining bright. The trees sway gently to and fro, shimmering in the moonlit glow. Now it's cooler all around. Apples tumble to the ground. Grass is damp with morning dew. Clouds drift across the skies of blue. Autumn leaves turned red and gold. Days are warm and nights grow cold. Food is gathered and stored away, ready for a winter's day. The cold north wind begins to blow. Animals shiver. It starts to snow. Time to shelter, find a bed, prepare for winter's months ahead. The forest floor is snowy white. In his tree, Owl sits tight. Deep midwinter's here once more. Wise Owl has seen it all before. It's silent now, no sounds are heard. Not a fox cub, not a bird. The trees are still, the snow lies deep. All the forest has gone to sleep. The seasons have all come and gone. Snow has fallen, sun has shone. Owl sees the first new buds appear, and so begins another year. Welcome to the lesson on the seasons of Oklahoma. Our weather changes all year long, and we have 4 seasons. We have winter, which changes to spring, spring to summer, and then summer to fall, and then right back into winter, and we keep going through all 4 seasons. The seasons change because of 2 things: the amount of direct sunlight and the number of hours that the sun shines. We call these 2 times as the solstice or the equinox. Let's start with the winter solstice. The winter solstice begins on December 21st. That's when the northern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun. This is the northern hemisphere, and if this is the sun, it means there is not direct sunlight on the northern hemisphere. So there we have our shorter days, which is less than 10 hours of sunlight. It's our coldest season where we experience cold winds, sleet, and snow. And this is when many animals will hibernate to conserve energy. From the winter solstice, then we go into the vernal or the spring equinox. This begins on March 20th. That's when the sun is exactly over the equator. So if here's our equator right here, that means the sun is shining directly on the equator. This causes our days to be longer and the air to become warmer because the sun is higher in the sky and it's giving us 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of nighttime. In the spring solstice, plants begin to bloom. Migrating animals move back north. Animals start to come out of hibernation or they lose their heavy winter coat. This all occurs in the spring equinox. Then we have the summer solstice, which is my favorite. It begins on June 21st. This is when the northern hemisphere is tilted toward the sun, so we get direct sunlight right on our northern hemisphere. This causes our days to be much longer, and we get over 14 hours of sunlight. It is by far the warmest season. All the plants are in bloom, the animals are out, birds are singing, school is out, and it's time to go swimming. And you may even help your parents plant a vegetable garden. All this happens during the summer solstice. Toward the end of the year, we move to the fall equinox, which begins on September 22nd. This is when the sun is back directly over the equator. So we get the equal amounts, 12 hours of sun, 12 hours of dark, but the air is starting to turn cooler. This is when plants begin to lose their leaves or not be quite as green. Animals start to migrate south. They start thinking about going back into hibernation, and this is when school starts. That is the fall equinox. One activity you could use to demonstrate the solstice and equinox is take a lamp and then use a globe, find the hemisphere, tilt it away, and continue to revolve around the lamp to demonstrate winter solstice. Put the globe straight and rotate around, and you have the vernal or the spring equinox and the fall equinox. And then take the northern hemisphere and tilt it toward the sun and rotate around without rotating the globe to show the summer solstice. This will give you an idea on how it rotates, the earth rotates around the sun. Another activity you could do is you could put 4 large trees up and then have the kids cut out pictures that represent what goes on during each of the seasons. The winter solstice, the spring equinox, the summer solstice, and the fall equinox. They could pick up pictures like swimming and sledding and going to football games and then tape them to the trees that represents that season. And then finally, my favorite is making a 4-season tree. Each person would need 4 of these, and then you just color them for each season, fold them in half, and glue them together, and then you have a tree of all 4 seasons. I hope you have enjoyed the lessons on the seasons of Oklahoma with solstice and equinox. Again, I'm your host, Susan Farrow, for the Tulsa Botanic Garden.